Welcome to another Foolish Thoughts episode. This is Joseph Barone, aka A Fool for Learning, your training and learning consultant. And our foolish thought for today is, farewell, overhead projector, farewell. Anne Arundel Community College, located in Maryland, announced that by the end of the spring 2024 semester, they would remove all overhead projectors from classrooms as the move to smartboards and other technologies would continue to ensure that they provided the latest and greatest to faculty, staff, and students. And yes, a handful would be kept centrally by the IT department and could be reserved by faculty upon request. Do you remember the overhead projector? My first introduction to one was my first day in high school in September of 1976. For those who do not know, this is a large machine that would project on a large screen at the front of the classroom the image placed on a glass plate on the machine. No more fooling with chalk and blackboards, as they were called at the time. Now, the overhead projector had a fan that not only produced a lot of noise, but also generated a lot of hot air. And by the way, the hot air was the fact that it was sucking in cool air and pushing out the hot air to keep the very bright and very, very hot bulb cool. Some teachers would bring with them a folder of clear transparencies or plastic sheets in which they would place on the flat glass screen and proceed to write the equation or keywords using a water-based marker. Some projectors had a scroll on either side with a long sheet of this plastic transparency film wrapped around one end. And what the instructor would simply do was they would fill in the transparency space that was on the top of the glass plate. And then when it was filled, they would kind of roll it to the next available blank section and continue writing. In fact, in my high school, we even had an AV club, and part of their job was to ensure that each day the transparencies were all cleaned for the next day. And yes, I must admit, I was part of that club for 1 year. When I was training in the late 1980s and 90s, I loved the overhead. I had my transparencies in cardboard frames so that they could not be damaged with overlays, and I had lots of colorful markers in which to write on them. I also used transparencies that I could place in a copier and copy cartoons, images of all sorts, etc. For use. I even taught novice trainers for a short period of time how to use them in training. I was hot stuff, as they would say. But by the early 2000s, they were disappearing as computer projectors and smartboards were becoming popular. To be honest, I had not seen one in many, many years until I walked into a classroom of a major university in D.C., that is the District of Columbia, late last summer, and found one in a corner. I was blown away that there was even one in a classroom. In fact, I took a picture of it and put it on my Facebook and X, formerly Twitter, account. The overhead projector at this institution, as in many other institutions and organizations, have fallen the way of the film strip, 35mm slides and the slide projector, the 8mm film projector, the record player, the cassette tape player, and a host of other technologies. There is not much you can do but simply reminisce. So, farewell, overhead projector, farewell. And thank you for brightening up many a class, so to speak. If you learned something from this episode, please take a moment to like, comment, or subscribe, or even share with a friend. To learn more about A Fool for Learning and how I can assist you and your organization with an appropriate learning solution to meet your business needs, please visit my website at afoolforlearning.com. This is Joseph Barone, the CEO of A Fool for Learning, signing out. Remember, learn, perform, succeed.